How different is Sam Wilson from comics to screen?
I don't know.
Samuel Wilson, aka Falcon, aka Captain America, has appeared in over 1,000 Marvel comics, so there's a significant amount of lore surrounding this character. On the big screen, we've seen the character be played by Anthony Mackie in a number of MCU movies, and even a show. So let's find out how different the character is in the comics to his appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sam Wilson made his first appearance in 1969's Captain America issue 117, written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Gene Colan. In the issue, we're introduced to a Falcon when Steve Rogers and the Red Skull, who have swapped minds, are battling on Exile Island. The Falcon intervenes, breaking up the fight. We later learn that this Falcon, named Redwing, is the partner to the Falcon, Sam Wilson, a Harlem native passionate about birds, who had taken a job with the people of the island. Meanwhile, Steve realizes that the Red Skull's face is just a mask, so removes it and disguises himself before coming across Sam. Rogers explains to Wilson that the exiles have sinister motives. Unaware of this, Sam instead chooses to help save the enslaved locals before Steve encourages him to take on a mask, costume, and name to become a symbol of hope, adopting the persona of the Falcon. Now, if you've seen any of the MCU movies or shows, you'll know this is wildly different to Sam's first appearance in Captain America the Winter Soldier, where he didn't have a bird and first met Steve on his left when out on a morning run.
He left. Come on!
But before I go into too much more detail about the movie differences, I need to finish off the rest of Wilson's origin in the books. Ever since Sam was a child, he had a passion for birds, eventually coming across and building a bond with the Falcon, Redwing, on a holiday while in Rio. After meeting Steve Rogers, he trained alongside him in martial arts. The pair then took down the exiles, leading to the Red Skull enacting revenge by using the Cosmic Cube, warping reality to trap them in his castle. The pair are able to defeat Red Skull, but in the process, Falcon and Redwing mentally fuse together after coming into contact with the cube. Despite having the power to telepathically link with the Falcon, Sam didn't start flying himself until Captain America issue 170, where he gets an upgraded suit designed by T'Challa, which featured incredibly lightweight, super strong glider wings that were controlled by his brain, powered by jets from the tips, and recharged via sunlight. So with that being said, if you've seen the MCU movies and show with Sam Wilson, you'll know there are a lot of differences from page to screen. In Captain America the Winter Soldier, Sam is retired from the United States Air Force, where he worked in the Pararescue Division wearing an XO7 Falcon jetpack, so that's how he got the wings and learned to fly. As for Redwing, that character has been updated to be a drone in the movies, which I think was a pretty good decision, because something like that would never translate to live action. Oh wait. Despite the character's adaptation to screen being significantly different, a lot of these ideas were taken from the Ultimate Comic universe, where Sam was a retired member of the armed forces before working as a special science consultant to Nick Fury. During this time, he created metal wings, which Sam used. Fury noticed his skills and recruited him as the Falcon to be a part of a mission with Steve Rogers and Natalia Romanova. However, despite all these differences, the Wakandans did create Sam's Captain America suit like they did with his original winged costume in the comics. Speaking of Captain America, this is the other notable title Sam is known for. So how similar was that translation from page to screen? Sam Wilson first became Captain America in Captain America Volume 7, Issue 25, released in 2014, written and illustrated by the very Marvel named Rick Remember, Carlos Pacheco, and Stuart Immonen. Leading up to this, Steve was trapped in Dimension Z, where Sam later helped him emotionally recover from the incident. They then went on a mission to stop a rampage by Nuke orchestrated by the Iron Nail. During this mission, Steve's super soldier serum was neutralized by the Iron Nail, causing Rogers to rapidly age to what his birth date would reflect. Sam then had another mission involving Arnim Zola that saw him stop a bomb. Because of this bravery and other acts of heroism, Steve decided to pass the mantle of Captain America onto Sam Wilson. Despite Steve giving Sam the shield at the end of Avengers Endgame, he didn't truly embrace the Captain America title, finding it difficult to accept being Captain America when people can't even accept him for being Captain America due to the colour of his skin. That was until the final episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he realised the values of Captain America were not put on Steve by the government, but values Rogers already had and associated with the symbol. That being to inspire. Believing he could live up to that, plus more by inspiring others who look like him, Sam felt comfortable becoming his version of Captain America.
That's the Black Falcon there, I tell you.
Nah, that's Captain America.
Like most great characters, Sam Wilson has a complex personality. Sam grew up in a dangerous part of Harlem, but his father tried to keep the peace. Unfortunately, when Sam was 9, he witnessed his dad die while trying to break up a fight. Sam grew up with his father's ideologies, eventually helping guide younglings to take a good path. Tragedy once again struck Sam when his mother was killed in a violent act too. This led to him having to take care of his younger siblings, Sarah and Gideon, but at the same time, Sam still looked out for the community, volunteering at shelters. He was even able to put himself through college after earning money driving a rig, where he then went on to work as a social worker, becoming well respected in the city he grew up in. Despite not knowing a lot about Sam's backstory in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we do know that his parents are deceased and has a sister named Sarah, though there's no indication of his brother being in the MCU. We also see his value of community and helping others, including having a support group for former soldiers struggling to adjust back into society. On top of these values, Sam is trustworthy and loyal, being one of the first people Steve Rogers openly revealed his secret identity to in the comics. He was a noteworthy successor as Captain America, sharing many of Steve's best qualities, including being strong-willed, empathetic, compassionate, fighting for what he believes is right, and being a great leader, where Sam has even led the Avengers team. On top of all those values, both Page and Screen has shown Sam is charismatic and witty, but knows when to be serious when the situation requires him to be. While Sam and Steve both have disagreements towards the government, it's largely for different reasons. Being someone who is black, Sam has faced discrimination and racism. Even before becoming Captain America, he was always seen by the public and enemies as a sidekick to Steve Rogers. So when Sam became Captain America, society in both the comics and show rejected him, leading to him questioning his worth. However, Sam used his courage, resilience, and never give up attitude to show his values to the world and challenges the government to do better. He's shown that he's willing to fight for people, so over time he's earned respect from many, but knows there's still a long way to go.
Sorry, I was texting, and so all I heard was the black guy in Stars and Stripes.
Now, what's Sam Wilson's connection to other characters? I've already talked about his parents and siblings, but what about other relationships? On screen, he hasn't had anything romantically, but in the comics, his most notable romances have been with Layla Taylor, Misty Knight, and Jane Foster, who was one of the very few people to know that she wielded the power of Thor. As for non-romantic partners, Steve Rogers is the most noteworthy on Page and Screen, where both mediums have shown their loyalty and trust to one another. The two mediums have also translated the initial friction to banter to mutual respect between Sam and the very Marvel named Bucky Barnes. Joaquin Torres became the Falcon when Sam took on the Captain America mantle. In the MCU, Sam's best friend Riley was killed when the pair were in the US Air Force together in the Pararescue Division, but this character does not exist in the comics. Sam Wilson has also teamed up with Sharon Carter and Natasha Romanoff on both Page and Screen. He also has a strong tie to T'Challa's Black Panther and the Wakandans, having created many of his suits. That rivalry between Sam and John Walker is another relationship that's shown in both the comics and TV show, particularly over who should be carrying the shield. While Sam might be the most notable character to have taken on the Captain America title after Steve Rogers, he wasn't the first successor in the comics. That was William Nasland. After Steve Rogers and Bucky were presumed dead, President Truman wanted to keep the Captain America symbol alive, enlisting Will to take on the mantle. Others who have been Captain America at one point or another include Bucky Barnes and John Walker, who was also Cap in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. We've seen how close Sam is with his sister and nephews in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but the comics explore those relationships about as much as the show, in that it's quite limited. On top of this, his nephews Cass and AJ don't exist in the comics. Sam is an uncle in the comics, but those characters are Jim and Jody. When it comes to significant teams Sam has been a part of, the Avengers is the only Page and Screen group, but as I already mentioned, he's only been the leader in the comics. So far. Page and Screen villains Wilson has fought include Hydra, Zemo, Crossbones, Badrock the Leaper, and the Flag Smashers. The comics have also seen Sam come up against antagonists such as Red Skull, AIM, and Arnim Zola many times.
Hey, Cap, how do we know the good guys from the bad guys? If they're shooting at you, they're bad.
Physically speaking, Sam Wilson was one of Marvel Comics' first heroes to be black. I've already spoken about his wing suits and Red Wing, but as far as costumes go, Wilson's initial look was extremely different, featuring the colours green and orange, something we haven't seen on screen. Sam's most notable Falcon look is red and white with a bit of gold, which is paid homage to in Captain America Civil War, although it's still largely different. His initial design mainly took inspiration from the Ultimate Comics. However, his Captain America look is very similar from page to screen, all the way up to his face mask. Even prior to Sam becoming the Falcon, he had an above-average athletic physique, having trained his body to peak physical condition. This was only strengthened with training by Steve Rogers in the comics and the Army in the movies. As a character who can fly, he's obviously mastered aerobatics. In the winged suit, he's reached speeds of 250 miles per hour with a wingspan of 50 feet. After further upgrades over the comics, the wings got to a point where they could absorb explosives like seen in the movies and show. In the comics, Sam has a chip in his brain that amplifies his ability to see through birds' eyes, transmitting the visuals into images and videos. The closest comparison to this on screen is his magnification goggles that provide protection and magnification to a microscopic level, being able to spot Scott as Ant-Man at a height. Because there were times where both Sam and Steve were Captain America at the same time, Wilson was given his own shield. Tony Stark designed the mold, T'Challa provided the vibranium, before Thor and Misty Knight forged the protector. This is comic exclusive though. In the MCU, he uses a slightly redesigned version of the shield Steve Rogers wielded.
Trainer.
As for comic-to-screen adaptations of stories that Sam Wilson has been a part of, Captain America the Winter Soldier is based on the Winter Soldier story arc, where Bucky Barnes returns as the brainwashed Winter Soldier. Captain America Civil War takes a lot from the Civil War comic arc, where Sam was the first to join Steve's side. As for the Avengers movies he's been a part of, Infinity War and Endgame take inspiration from the Infinity Saga event in the comics. However, Sam is not involved in the book, unlike the movie where he was dusted away. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier series was inspired by the Captain America Sam Wilson run from 2015, where Sam took on the mantle of Captain America, the Captain America run from 2004, where we see Bucky's redemption from being the Winter Soldier, and Truth, Red, White and Black, introducing Isaiah Bradley. Another notable comic arc Sam has been a part of is Secret Empire, where Steve Rogers is Hydra, but it's not actually Steve Rogers. It's a different version created from the Cosmic Cube.
I'm a big fan.
Appreciate it.
Hey, you want to hear some fun facts about Sam Wilson?
Yes.
Here are some fun facts about Sam Wilson. The Falcon wasn't just one of Marvel Comics' first superheroes to be black, but one of the first comic characters in general. Stan Lee introduced the character to the world at Duke University during a talk about comics as a reflection of contemporary culture. While Marvel haven't always got it right, I feel like both the comics and movies have always had a progressive mindset, wanting to celebrate a diverse range of characters. Sam Wilson co-creator Gene Colan drew the character, taking inspiration from O.J. Simpson. Nowadays, they don't really use his likeness when drawing the comics. Before Anthony Mackie was cast as Sam Wilson in the MCU, he auditioned for Rhodey in the first Iron Man film and the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. It was this screen test that led him to be offered the role of Sam the following year.
It was a great audition, but it'll never happen again.
Sam Wilson is one of Marvel's most noteworthy characters. Even though we've seen the character put to screen many times, he's had significantly more stories told in the comics. And I've mostly just spoken about his main 616 appearance. There are all sorts of variants of this character across the multiverse. While there are major differences from page to screen, particularly with his origin, there are some similarities, and like most Marvel characters who have appeared in many comics, they've had time to evolve and change, so the movies use this to their advantage, and create a version that best reflects this in the modern day. So I think Anthony Mackie's portrayal does a great job to capture the essence and complexities of the character. I've also done a video on Steve Rogers as Captain America, which you can find in the description, along with the playlist of other source material to screen videos. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what your favourite movie or show featuring Sam Wilson is, and don't forget to absolutely obliterate those like, subscribe and share buttons. I'm just kidding. Only do it with enough force that it registers. I don't want any of you breaking whatever device you're watching this on.